And down at the bottom right-hand corner of Antigua Shipyard, we have our red Zerg player from Gamers Abyss. It is Link. And his opponent in the upper left-hand corner from Tactical Carnage, our purple Zerg player, Bob Moo.
Bob Moo. So is that his full name, do you think, Bob Moo? Or
no, I believe he's Robert Moo Esquire.
Okay. So. But is Moo short for something like
no, it's just Moo. It's a common family name down in the south. So
it's actually, I think, a Korean, one of the Korean popular surnames, Moo. Isn't there a...
I have no idea now.
Moo?
Sometimes Josh and I cross the threshold of reality and trolling, and it's seamless. It's actually seamless between them. So
I'm Googling Korean surnames right now, and if Moo is not in the top 10, I'm just going to lose it.
Okay.
I think.
Oh, please don't lose it.
It'll be lost.
Oh, God. Whatever will we do? His sound is... Oh, it messed up there. Okay. Thankfully, the colorful language going up to the top. It looks like our players are now ready to go. Bob Moo, with not a care, says that it's okay.
I may have been thinking of Moon. Moon is a...
yes, that I would have gone with.
There are some Moos, apparently, but Shim Moo, Jinsang Moo... There's a singer, Eric Moo.
Okay.
Of Malaysian descent, though, not Korean.
And now a famous StarCraft player, Bob Moo.
That's right. Robert Moo.
Yes. Robert, a common Korean name as well.
That's right. No, don't be silly.
If
you had said North Korean, I would believe you.
Well, possibly. So. Both players putting down their pools at about the same time. We've noticed that this has been the prevailing strategy recently. Some players previously, in the past, had been going for a quick hatchery, but it's actually harder than you think to defend here just because of the amount of space that actually leads up into the natural itself. Really wide ramp. You've got a lot of space you can stage banelings and things like that. So both players choosing to go for pool into hatchery, but all of that before gas.
Yep, just identical builds once again for our ZVZ games. We saw this yesterday with our games between the people that played.
Yeah, anyway.
Oh, man.
Well, hey, that's gas coming up for Bob Moo now.
It's Complexity Academy.
Same thing on the way for Link. What's Complexity Academy?
Complexity Academy, and...
You're putting me on the spot, and I can't deliver right now.
You talk about this game, and I'll think about the previous games.
So gas coming up a little bit later for Link, but it's not really going to. I mean, it's not going to make that big of a difference. It was only about a 6 or 7 second advantage in terms of building there for Link. So his gas income's coming a little bit earlier, but not really going to be the biggest deal in the world. 2 queens coming up for Bob Moo. His second one is started. Second one now started for Link as well. So these guys, not a lot to separate them. The question is going to be how quickly do they go into their baneling nest? How big of an attack do they want to make at the beginning? How much economic damage do they want to try and put on?
And yeah, it was Team Alt, obviously. Alt. It was Complexity Academy versus Team Alt, where we saw those very nice ZVZ games. And unfortunately, that series had to be cut short because Team Alt did not have a 5th player available. But today, hopefully both teams brought enough to do a full best-of-9. You always run that danger when you have such a long series. These Zerglings are going to get a drone kill.
And they do. That was actually kind of a gutsy move from Link there for a second. If you notice, the Roach Warren was queued up, and he's going to build it right in front of Bob Moo. I don't know if Bob Moo was able to see it, though. He himself was going for the little more predictable baneling nest. And who does Link think he is? Nesty. That's a Roach Warren. There's no defensive baneling nest. And we've seen it repeated time and time again why players that decide to put out that hatch out there need a baneling nest, a defensive baneling nest at the beginning of the game. Maybe Link will have the control he needs, though, to avoid that, that damage.
It's tricky just because of like movement speed. Roaches stand up fine to banelings, but they can't be everywhere at once. Zerglings can run circles around them and then just morph off to the side, and they still have plenty of time to run in and kill drones and things like that. So roaches are stronger than banelings in a straight-up fight, but basically their mobility is going to be the disadvantage. So we'll see if Link is going to have enough roaches, enough spread out, basically, to defend well against banelings.
Okay, well, it's 3 roaches coming up for Link at the moment. Zergling speed just finishing up for Bob Moo too, so making his way out there. Zergling speed, of course, never started for Link, so you were talking about that movement speed. Well, it's even going to be more important now.
Oh, wow. So Link, did you say Link doesn't have the movement?
Yeah,
Oh, wow.
Link does not have Zergling speed at all. He's going straight into roaches, and he's bypassed Zergling speed entirely.
Yikes. So, yeah, he's going to need more roaches than he has, that's for sure. He started a lair now, and, you know, that's gas that could have gone to more roaches. Instead, he is just making some more drones at the moment and overlords. But here we go, Speedlings coming in. None of them have started morphing over just yet. He does have enough for 8 or 9 Banelings already to get started. Well, enough gas is what I was looking at. I didn't realize his mineral count was pretty low there. But basically, he's got... He can run circles around Link if he gets the right entry point. And there he goes. Off to that right side is exactly the softest point. And now he just says, nope, I don't want to kill you. I want to wait and kill you harder later.
Well, he is putting up a third base back at home as well, so Bamu going to expand pretty aggressively, move up in tech as well, going up to 4 gas in total. So with that layer tech well on the way, actually finishing up now, we're going to see a significant change here in just a second.
He is morphing some Banelings with these little hidden ones off to the right side, so he could actually sneak around and manage to snipe. Wow, maybe not. He's rallying them to a weird spot. Okay, yes, he's bringing his Lings back to distract, so the Banelings can probably just sneak around the back and try to kill some drones. Will they get too close to the roaches?
That's
no!
a nice song there, and 6 roaches do disappear instantly.
6 drones disappear instantly.
Yes, bye-bye. Yes. That's a total of 8 killed in this game, and looks like he was able to snag a couple before as well. Bamu still with the Zerglings sitting out in the middle of the map, and just trying to do it again. He's got more Banelings morphing off to the side. Looks like the roaches were able to pick up on this one, though.
Yep, they'll discover the Banelings before they're a threat, but now Bamu is just going to use his remaining Ling to get killed. And there's a Hydralisk Den nearly finished now. This is really interesting. I mean, he did lose 6 drones, but things could have actually gotten a lot worse for him had Bamu actually made a lot more Banelings instead. He switched tech entirely into that Spire tech, so he's going to have enough for maybe 5, possibly 6 Mutalisks by the time that Spire actually gets completed.
Okay, that's a fair number of forces out running around the middle of the map, and Bamu has a couple of roaches there, just in case. Spire finishes up right at the back of the main, and looks like 5 Mutalisks started for now. Didn't save up a ton of gas, just once enough Mutas he can get out there and pick off a couple of drones here and there. Finally, a third base coming up for Link, though, and he will need to defend back at home. Are those the first 3 Hydras coming out? Yes, they are.
Interesting that Link actually has more workers than Bamu, despite Bamu being on 3 bases a lot longer. Link is going to get some nice scouting information with this Overseer, obviously. Going to see these Mutas starting to throw little glaive worms at him as he tries to cover the natural, doesn't quite make it. But, yeah, Link getting his hatch up this late compared to Bamu is a little bit surprising, but I'm even more surprised that Bamu doesn't have more workers, really.
Well, Overlord goes down, and you know, Link's not really making a move to send these all back home. I'm a little surprised about that. He could actually get a lot of these caught out in the middle of the map.
That's right. Instead, he is actually just going to go on that beeline. Actually, no, he's going to snag at least one of these Overlords. Link not being very quick on the draw, and he is supply blocked majorly now, down to only 84 supply cap, now 92. Going to lose another Overlord here and drop back down. It just constantly bounces between 84 and 92. Overseer actually manages to escape for Bamu, so that's nice for him.
Yeah, but there's these Hydras are obviously not very mobile off of creep, so they'll get there eventually, but the Mutas are going to have a pretty easy time of just kind of running around the side, ducking back and forth. Looks like Bamu's starting to move into pretty heavy roach production now, getting all of his relevant upgrades in place, but he is pretty far behind in that regard. Yeah,
it's kind of interesting. You'd think Bamu would just continue building more Mutalisks since he has that advantage at this point, whereas Link has been, you know, making these ranged ground units all game long, and he's already got 2-2 upgrades for those units, about halfway done. Oh wait, excuse me. Yeah, that's right. Okay, so Link does have 2-2 about halfway done. He's gonna lose another Overlord here, though. He just keeps consistently getting supply blocked, and Bamu with 138 supply has now passed him. So he's just having to crank out these Overlords, and it's so annoying to have to use lots of minerals and larva at this point just to recreate Overlords that aren't doing really anything else for you.
Okay, well, Bamu's going to try and sneak into the main here. There's really not a lot defending this. This is going to be a lot of dead drones here. Everything's starting to finally move away, and Hydralisks are making their way back, but still, an additional 3 or 4 workers killed, all of that mining denied once again, and the supply continues to rocket up for Bamu. Despite the fact that he is back considerably in upgrades, he does have many more forces on the field.
That's right, and the Mutalisks alone are actually just causing a lot of irritation for Link. He's constantly having to watch out with his drones. He could build a couple of spores here and there, still has not opted to do that, which is a little interesting because this Queen now is really exposed. Finally, the Hydralisks do mobilize again. We've got this Overlord farm around the neutral depots there. It's kind of funny looking, but more drones under attack, still no spore crawlers there. Queens and Hydras have the lone role of anti-air here.
16 workers killed with all this harassment as well, and the speed of those mutas is really coming out there. Yeah, okay, he lost one mutalisk there, but he's killed 8 workers and denied mining at 2 bases as a result. That is well worth the cost of just 1 mutalisk. So Babu bouncing back, and his supply almost maxed now, and 1-1 upgrades did finish up, moving into 2-2 very quickly. So in about 180 seconds, he will be caught up in upgrades, but for now, still does have the significant unit advantage.
Yeah, and the harassment has paid off for him. It's given him enough time to sit back and macro. Basically, he's got tons and tons of roaches available now for the next fight, so the Hydralisk DPS is really going to have to shine here. He's going to have to keep them all alive to be able to hold this off at all. He does have a pretty nice position, actually, on that ramp, but with not enough roaches to tank in the front, these Hydras are going to start dropping very quickly. This is not looking good for Link. He doesn't have any spines helping out either. Now at a 40 supply deficit, these Hydras are actually getting finished off, and I think this third base is more or less gone at this point.
I mean, you can see the power of the upgrades there, even with vastly inferior numbers. He was able to kill a lot of stuff with him, but it's just not going to be enough. Babu's just going to roll the victory here, it looks like, and secure a second victory in a row for the tactical crew.
Tactical Carnage, Babu looks poised to take a second game here, and it looks like he just had way more HP than Link could actually carve through. So that's the benefit of roaches, obviously, is they're pretty stout little buggers, and he's basically just got a ton of them. Babu and Link fighting all over the place now, red versus purple. A little hard to keep track of on the creep, but it looks like just a ton of roaches still standing for Babu, and Link is having to pull all of his drones now. Just a matter of time before he taps out. There's the GG.
And there it is. So game number 2 in the books for Tactical Carnage. Babu